Good morning, traders. Gates W. Adams here, and I am back with you today on this wonderful Monday morning, ready for a new week of trading. Now, today we have another opportunity to look at the European perspective. We're going to be talking to a trader out of Germany, in addition to his strategies and what it is that's actually helping him bring home the bacon. We're going to talk a little bit about the transition of part-time trading for a part-time income, moving into the world of making the primary and sole income as a trader, and the freedom that brings by having the opportunity to make money regardless of where you are. All you need is some skill, some discipline, and an internet connection. So we'll get into some of that today. Today we have the privilege of talking to Niklas on the Trader Bacon Show.
Welcome to the Trader Bacon Show, where we showcase everyday traders that are getting funded, paid, and bringing home the bacon. Are you ready? Because the Trader Bacon Show starts right now.
Niklas, good morning, man.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. Had a good trading day, so can't complain.
Excellent. So now let's start things off. I kind of talked about the fact in the intro here that now you're in Germany, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Correct. Now did you just finish trading the U.S. morning session?
I did. Yes.
Got it. Okay. So what time is that for you when you get kicked off?
3:30.
3:30. Okay. So this is like an afternoon, obviously a nice mid-afternoon session for you. And we had a winning day today.
We did, yeah.
Yeah. Are you done trading for the day?
Probably yes. Yeah.
That's about it for you. It was enough of a win.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm good for now. So after this interview, probably gonna check the market again. But yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so we kind of like to start the show off a little bit with kind of some of that lead-in routine as far as what gets you prepped and ready for your day of trading. So, since the timetable is a little bit different for you, obviously we don't necessarily have that wake up, brush your teeth, and get to trading sort of schedule. So what does your schedule look like in terms of trading going into that trading day?
Yeah, so my prep works pretty much begins the night before. So my last prep work was yesterday's at Sunday night. I look at the Friday and Thursday of last week and look for support and resistance zones. That's pretty much the only thing I do on the day before. Then I wake up at around 7:30, 8 a.m. Go to the gym, maybe shower or eat a snack. Like, it depends on how much time I have. And at 9 a.m. the EU session begins, and I trade that for around 3 hours. So it's 12 p.m. then here. And then I have a 2-hour break, and then the US session begins. And
then hit that US open. So you're primarily trading two different time frames, two different time periods.
Yes.
So EU and US Open. So that gives you a good chunk of time. So typically, what are you trading about 4 or 5 hours a day?
At least, yeah.
Okay.
If the US session didn't give me enough, let's say it that way, I trade until 9 p.m. So with the break, it's almost 8 hours a day then.
Gotcha. Okay. So do you typically try to finish off after the 2 sessions, or do you typically try to go into that third session
it really depends on the day. So the maximum I do is 3 trades a day. So I either have 2 losses or 2 wins in a row, and then I stop, or I have 2 losses in a row and a win after that, or any combination in between.
Gotcha.
But I definitely stop after 2 losses or 2 wins.
Got it. Okay. So that hits your target. And we'll talk about the actual trades here in just a few minutes. But when it comes to determining what it is that you're shooting for in your day, is there a specific dollar target, or is it just about the number of trades?
It's more about the number of trades, especially when it comes to the losses, because after 2 losses, I am not in the best headspace.
Sure.
probably. So I don't want to risk anything after that. So that's pretty much why I stop after 2 losses. Wins is pretty much the same, or I want to reward myself if I have a good day. So yeah, I think that's just important. So that's why I stop at 2 wins.
That's cool. Now you brought something up we haven't talked about before. What does a reward look like for you if you've had 2 in a row?
Well, just stopping the trading. So just stop working and maybe go to the gym, watch some Netflix, have a beer, something like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. So it's getting back into the just the swing of day-to-day life.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Now, as we go through here, we mentioned that obviously we're going to talk a little bit about your trades and your setups. Do you have something that you can show us and really kind of show us what it is that you're looking for in that trade routine?
Yeah, sure. I can share my screen and we'll go from there. So let me share that one. Okay.
All right. Is that the carrot?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I bet you that would be fun to drive on the Autobahn.
Oh, I guess, yeah. But most cars are great to drive on the Autobahn. I mean, it's the Autobahn, right?
It's not the car, it's the Autobahn. Is that?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right.
So that would be the profiles. That is the GC, so gold. And that profile shows only the market and cash profile of the US market from.
Okay.
This was yesterday. Yes.
And I'm sorry, I maybe I didn't hear. Did you say what instrument this was?
Gold. That's a gold.
Okay.
Picture. Yeah.
Perfect.
So what I do the day before, I look at some anomalies when it comes to the volume. So if you can see right here at the bottom, you have a pretty big volume spike down here,
right?
And a lot of red delta. So you have a lot of sell market orders that came in here, but it wasn't enough to push the price down. So there's a pretty good chance that I think that the market will come down here and reject it again, or it could happen.
Gotcha.
Then I have a few other indicators. So that
are we
here,
looking at a very zoomed in bar here? Is that just a single bar?
No, that's a market profile. So every little, what is it called, thing here? What's that?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, the little rectangles right here.
Gotcha.
That are 30-minute rectangles. So the market was at that point, at that price in the first 30 minutes. Then it moved to here, here, here. So that's a market profile.
Gotcha.
I look for things like also that's here. If we have one rectangle, one small rectangle is called a TPO. If you have more than 2 TPOs right beside each other, we call that a poor low, and that's a magnet for the market. It's something like a bad auction.
Okay.
The same goes if you have here TPOs in a single row of TPOs. You call that a selling tail. So the market did not have any interest up here, but there was a lot of interest down here. So that would be a magnet for me, and that would be the opposite of a magnet.
Now, does that indicate maybe an entry point for you and a target?
Yes. So right now, that's the zones I had, and today I had a trade that was that one. Yes. So that is the zone I had on the screenshot before. The blue zone is this one. And I wanted to do a short because in the market profile, that's a market profile from today.
Okay.
And I had a selling tail, which said to me that we don't want to accept the higher prices. And we had a poor low, which pretty much acts as a magnet. So I wanted to get a trade right around that support resistance zone. And then I also got it. Yep, there we go. Then we had a small range here at the top of my zone, and we had a huge breakout, and then we came into the zone back again. And this breakout was a pretty good indicator that the upper levels weren't of interest.
Right.
So as soon as we moved back into that area here, right here, that is within the rectangle, I entered the trade. So right here, stop around a few ticks over the high we had here. I think that was 2 ticks above the high.
Right. And can you zoom that in a little bit more just so we can kind of see it a little bit better? There we go. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
There we go. So that's we built the range. Then we had the breakout out of the range. We came back in with, well, pretty big rejection, right? I mean, look at that candle here. And as soon as we close inside that rectangle again, we go in. Stop
that's your entry
above the white point would be the entry. Stop would be 2 ticks over the top here, over the high. And I almost always shoot for a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. So my stop was 17 ticks, so my target was here at 34 ticks.
Now, are you looking at anything based on that target other than just the 2-to-1 based on that wick, or are you looking for market activity that gives you enough to justify that 2-to-1 ratio?
I start with a 2-to-1 if a 2-to-1 is not possible or isn't likely. I don't enter the trade, but right here we were still inside the value area. The orange stuff here is the value area that supports the red bar. So as long as my TP is inside the value area, I'm fine with it.
You're good to go.
But
now, are you going to trail that as you go, or are you going to just let it go either way?
Come again?
Are you going to trail that stop as you go, or are you going to let it hit the extreme either way?
I would trail it if we get to my TP and I see there's still a lot of action in the market and we could go way above my target or way beyond my target, I will trail my stop. So I will delete the TP and I will move my stop close to the point where we are now if the market comes down.
So you'll protect your profit level and just see if it's going to run.
Yes, but I very, very closely trail it from there. So
you don't want to let anything go back.
No. That 2-to-1 ratio should be the minimum.
Great. And obviously, as you're working in funded accounts, and of course, getting to the point of being a funded trader, there was the evaluation. So that, of course, helps with that trailing drawdown. So as you get to that point, you're not going to allow that much to be given back, which protects yourself from that trailing drawdown. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the funded account right now, and I think in every account I traded today, I was way above the trailing drawdown. So in that case, the trailing drawdown wasn't really worth considering. But if you're in your evaluations or in a fresh PA, it definitely makes a difference. Yeah.
Gotcha. And if we can take just a quick second, since we are talking about evaluations, I just want to remind everybody, we are giving away 3 Apex Trader funding evaluations at the end of the show. If you have not done so yet, please make sure that you fill out the form that's in there in the chat. I'm going to probably get that back up in there in the chat again. And we will give those away at the end of the show. So anyway, sorry to take that quick break there, but go ahead and continue, man. I appreciate you.
So the only thing I would do, or I did in that trade, is I look at what the market does at the POC. So at the point of control where we had the most volume at the day of the day. As you can see, my target was at 43.3, but as you can see, it took quite a while. That's what my entry right here. My stop was pretty much here, so it was very close to being stopped out here. I think it was 1 tick, and then that was my exit right here.
So how long did this trade actually take?
Well, I went in at 10 o'clock, around 4 hours. 4 hours, yeah.
4 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
So for a scalper like me, that sounds like pure agony.
Yeah,
But
it is. It sometimes is, especially when things like that here happen.
so, right, of course. So that actually begs the question, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt again, but for you, how long have you been trading?
Futures for 2.5 years now.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
Did it take you a long time to get to the point where you could stand being within a trade for 4 hours, or did you start this way and it just seems natural to you?
Well, that depends on the definition, I'd say, because I still have problems with. I mean, if stuff like that happens, I still get emotional, right? If it turns one tick in front of my TP or one tick in front of my SL, emotions are still part of it, but not nearly as bad as it was in the beginning. So I'm still learning, but I think it's way better. So it's a process. I don't know. There's no point in time where you wake up and think, now I can deal with it.
Today's 100%. The day I can take a 4-hour trade, right?
It would be nice. But it gets better every day. Yeah.
Sure. Well, and I think practice, of course, is a factor here. But now when you take a trade like this and it is in there for 4 hours, are you at the screen for the entire time? Or do you, I mean, obviously the obvious, quick breaks walking away, but I mean, do you sit there at your computer for the entire duration of this trade, or will you walk away?
Also depends on the trade. If I have a lot of confidence in the trade, I may walk away for maybe 2 hours, get to the gym, something like that. At this trade, as I said earlier, I had the pork in the way, so the point of control was would have been hit or was hit before my TP was hit. So in cases like that, I stay at the market and I look if anything happens at the pork. Yeah, and in that trade, I also, as you can see here, my TP was the TP I said at the beginning was pretty much here at the 43.3. But in all that time here, the value area came up to, I think, 43.8. So my TP was outside of the value area. And that is something I do not want. So that's why I put my TP on the POC right here, which was the 44. We can show it again. Yep, that one right here. So that would have been the TP I initially set, but the value area creeped up higher. And then I set the TP on the POC right here, and yeah.
Got it. So you're obviously going to take into consideration all of the current market activity in adjusting that take profit section, or that take profit area. Okay.
Also, the order flow, how many contracts get traded in what time frame, and etc.
That's awesome. Now, was this the only trade that you took today?
Yeah.
Okay, and this was just enough to clean it up and be done, or are you going back for the later session?
No, it's probably good for today. Yeah.
You're good to go. Yeah. 4 hours in a trade, I would think that I would be good to go. Now, Raz asks, how do you deal with the chop? So, of course, you're in this moment of, we've already come close to the stop loss. We're not quite necessarily making that move towards that target. What do you do in that interim time to manage your emotions, for one, and potentially manage the trade as you start to notice differences in your regions and your zones that you're looking at?
So the management is pretty easy because I only manage if the trade is already in profit or near my goal. So I don't have really, there's nothing to do with that respect, in that respect. And when it comes to dealing with emotions, I don't know. I try to not look too much at the screen, I guess. I mean, there's if my idea is still valid. So if everything the selling tail I had, the poor low I had, which functions as a magnet, everything is still exactly the same as when I entered. Why should I do anything anything
Gotcha.
different. Yeah.
So just time intention, as they say, just as you spend time in longer trades, is that a pretty typical trade for you, 4 hours, or are they normally faster than that?
Yeah, that's on the longer side. I would say the typical trade is half an hour to an hour.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I know, Raz, we were talking about the fact that he trades the EU Open, he trades the US Open, and then he will trade the evening session, I guess, as well. So there's going to be a variety in that initial trade time. Do you have a specific time within a session, or is it just when you see an opening?
Could be anytime within a session. So let's say at my time, I started at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock is the EU session. So I trade everything I see between 9 and 12. Then from 12 to 2:20, I have my break. 2:20, the gold has cash open. And then I start trading gold. Then at 3 o'clock, the CL, the oil market, has cash open. Then I start trading oil. And at 3:30 my time, the ES opens and NQ. Then I start trading them.
Gotcha. So you're actually going to choose your instrument based on what time it is.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Well, let's switch gears a little bit, because I want to talk a little bit about your history and where you are now and where you're going as a trader. So you mentioned that you started trading about 2.5 years ago. How did you actually get into trading?
Well, I started trading futures 2.5 years ago. That's
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So where did we begin?
Binary options was my first.
Were you on Nadex?
No, I
don't
even know where
European binaries.
Yeah, it was a pretty shitty app I used on my phone. So I think this is a long time ago. I think that's like 2012. So I was I think like 14 or 15 at the time.
Oh my, okay.
Yeah, that's when we first got into contact with it. And then a local bank, started a competition between the schools here in Germany, or here in my city in Wuppertal, which they gave demo accounts to a lot of groups within a school. So you could form groups of 2 and compete against other groups of 2 from other schools, from your school, etc. And we won that competition. My best friend and me made like $500 from the competition and got an iPad, something like that, which is pretty good money for a 16-year-old. Like $500 is pretty nice. And that's when we started really getting interested in that stuff. Not only because we made money, or we got the money through the competition, but we realized that there's money to be made there. And
the opportunity.
Yeah. Then we graduated from high school and started CFD trading. Lost quite a bit of money there, just goofing around with no strategy, just buying, selling, with really no strategy at all.
Right. With no strategy, there's pretty much, we all know now, of course, in hindsight, we never know, but we know that that's probably not the best way to proceed, especially when there's real money on the line.
Yeah. Then we found a signal service provider. So someone that, gives you signals on how to trade. And we used that for around half a year, made a lot of money with it.
Okay.
And we're so excited that we told family about it. We told friends about it. I personally took a loan out to invest into that. I was 18 years old, just started my at university, and then everything crashed because the signals were forex signals, so foreign exchange, and they had long positions in British pound yen, British pound US dollar, and British pound Australian dollar, I think. And that was the time where the Brexit happens. So everything went downhill really, really fast. I remember getting a call at, 2 a.m. from my best friend at night, where he just said, well, open the app and you'll see. Yeah, and pretty much everything we had was gone. Between him and me, as I said, we were 18 years old. We lost like 80K, so
Oh,
80
wow.
grand. And that was hell. I mean, I had panic attacks. It was a really bad time. But that's also when we realized that there's definitely money to be made, but we need to take it into our own hands.
Sure.
And yeah, that's when we started, well, buying books, buying or getting teachings, getting coaches, and yeah.
Okay.
So
So fast forward, obviously you found futures after an $80,000 loss. Were you seeking an opportunity to put the financial burden somewhere else? Or did you just happen upon funding?
Probably a combination.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you have considered getting back into trading with your own funds if you didn't have the option to work with a prop firm?
Probably yes, but it would have taken a way longer time. Having that kind of money is at this point in your life is pretty tough. I mean, I just lost everything I had. I was in school or in university now. It's pretty hard to like get a few thousand grand as a student, right? So
Sure.
It would have probably taken me like a few years more.
Gotcha. So now, obviously, we've talked about the fact that you're funded with Apex Trader Funding, and actually before the show and backstage, we talked about the fact that you actually currently have 20 PAs that are currently passed and funded, and that you have at your disposal. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
But you don't trade them all at once.
No. Right now.
How are you trading?
I trade 10 at once.
Okay.
I have 4 of those. I have a medium risk per trade, and
Okay.
6 of them are pretty conservative. So
Okay.
I risk around in the 6 accounts. I risk about 2 to 3% of my trailing per trade, and in the other ones it's pretty much double that, so 4 to 6%. Yeah.
Okay. Now, and then of course you've got the 10 in the background in case something happens. You don't have to wait, I presume.
Exactly.
Okay. So at this point, what has trading brought to your life? Are you trading part-time as a part-time income, or is this what you do for an income now?
Yeah, that's full-time now. So
That's
since January that year, this is my full-time occupation.
Mhm.
And well, it hasn't changed a lot until now. I mean, of course, it changed a lot. I'm self-employed right now. I can work whenever I want. I don't have to answer to anybody, so it's quite a good thing, right?
That's always an option.
Yeah, and also you need to have a lot of discipline if you realize that your income is 100% reliant on your trades, right? If I make mistakes in the market, I may not be able to pay my rent, something like that, right? So
There you go.
it forces you to be more disciplined, or just to get everything in order just faster because you are reliant on it, right?
Certainly. And I think, of course, the presumption is that it takes a lot of discipline to get to the level where you are, where you have 20 funded accounts and your sole income is coming from trading. But then again, that, of course, brings together the idea that now you're there and this is where your income comes from. So what you learned in the evaluation process seems to have carried through to make you more consistent as a paid trader. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
it not only there, I mean, discipline really helps with everything in your life, right? I mean, I started going to the gym again. I had a pretty severe, what's it called? Pretty severe
Like an
operation
injury?
at my hand. Yeah, injury. Thank you. So I couldn't go for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And I just started like 2 months ago, and the discipline from trading really comes in handy now because
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
just go
Hey,
whenever. Yeah.
I absolutely wish we had a little bit more time. We are really coming right down
All
to
good.
the wire here. And so I did want to take a quick moment, make sure that we fulfill the promise of before. We are giving away 3 evaluations. So let's make sure that we've got you guys all set, and let's see if we've got some winners here. Zanaid, are you with us?
Sure do. Yes, I am. And those are your winners there. I'll go ahead and show them up in the show. And so you will go ahead and get an email from me by the end of today with a code. That code will go ahead and get you a free eval of any of your choice, and then it'll be 50% off every single month after that. So just a heads up on that. And the code, I believe, will expire in 2 weeks or so. So make sure you guys use them soon and use them properly. But those are your winners there on the screen. You will get an email with the code by the end of this day. And that's all for me.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. And Niklas, thanks for spending some time with us again. I mean, I could go after this for another hour. I know that we don't necessarily have time for that. But, I mean, some great insight here. I really appreciate what you bring to the table. And moving forward, guys, we have some phenomenal shows coming up. I'm really excited. Some pretty cool announcements of some things that we're going to do in the next few weeks. So hang back with us, and we'll see you next week, Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern.
Welcome to the Trader Bacon Show, where we showcase everyday traders that are getting funded, paid,